So there are all kinds of different approaches to soloing over blues, at least a dozen that I can think of, and I use mostly about 5 different ones. The one I thought I'd talk about today is where most beginners start, which is the pentatonic scale. And I'm in a key of A. I might switch keys here in a minute. So we'll just, so standard blues, we're going to have, in the key of A, we're going to have our 1 chord. It's going to be that A, our 4 chord. And the 4 means it's the 4th degree of the scale. We won't worry about that. Just know that it's called the 4th chord if you're a beginner. Will be a D chord. So we got an A, up here we'll play the cowboy chords, the D and the E in that blues. Down here on the 5th position, so I'm playing like an E style bar chord. So I see them E here, here's the E here. So I'm playing the E with these fingers. Like here. So I call it E style bar chord. And we've got an A style bar chord here, which is the D. So you got an A here, you got the D here. You got the E slid up 2 frets. So most people do start with the blues pentatonic, and they usually start learning it, I did, from this 5th position, from where the E style bar chord is. Now you could start learning it anywhere on the neck because there's 5 different places. It's 5-note scale. It appears in different locations on the guitar, and then it repeats once you get 12 notes past, but we won't go too deep into that. So let's say we're playing A blues. So our pentatonic is it's 4-1, 4-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 4-1. It's kind of convenient. A lot of people like the fact that you've got these 3. You can do a lot of soloing around just that. So 4-1, 4-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 4-1, or 1-4, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1-4. Now, the thing is, that's not particularly musical just to play that. That's just so you'll know where your spots are. And a lot of people practice doing my guitar teacher used to have me do some stuff like that, just as exercises, just to know where that pentatonic scale is. Now, that same pentatonic can be extended, and you can go up here to this one. And the way I always find this pentatonic is I know that's where my A note is, right here. I've got A note here, got an A note here. So when you play this one, you do this. Now, I should say I'm in the minor pentatonic right now. We've got major and minor ones. I'm showing you minor pentatonics first for blues. Then I'm going to show you the major ones, a little bit backward than what people usually do, but then we're going to mix the 2 of them together. But so we got the pentatonic here. Same 5 notes are here. So what that one is, it's 3-1 here. Then you're going to back up a little. Most people just back up this way, like that. Slide that finger back to go here, right? Or pinky finger. If you played it the right way, you play it this way. Very few people play that in that position that way. Now, this is a famous position to play blues in. It's called the B.B. King box. B.B. particularly enjoyed playing blues down here, his blues sounds. Now, you noticed I just went outside of my pentatonic scale for a second by stretching a note. So that's the other thing that we'll be doing, is we'll be using what's called blue notes, and we'll be using passing tones, and we'll be using tones from other pentatonics. So here again, this one. Practice this. Then one of my favorite pentatonics is the next one up. We're still in the key of A. It's this one. Because this 1-3 is also down here. Sounds a little deeper because you're using You're more toward the middle of the scale of the neck, and you're also on the thicker strings. I just added another note there. We're getting outside the pentatonic when I do that. But this pentatonic scale is 1, 3. Now, first of all, what am I building around? The thing I want you to do is every time is have a target that you're getting. When you're doing this pentatonic, you're looking at that A note. When you're doing this pentatonic, you're looking at this A note. When you're doing this pentatonic down here, you're looking at this A note. You can also have this one here. Your two A's are there. So we're going to do 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. You're going to go back. Right? Now here's our A note. Then we're going to go. We end on this E note. So this one actually is like 3, 1, 4, 1. And you go back up. Then. Now what most blues players do is they find the places where they can do these 1, 3, these 1, 3s. Right? So you're finding these places where you play your pentatonics easier. You're also finding places where you can play them kind of and do some kind of nice repeating licks. This particular pentatonic down here lends itself really well to doing stuff like this. I'm playing all the pentatonic, right? So if I played it up here, it'd be hard to play. I can do it up here. Kind of got a bigger stretch. Easier to do it here. The reason it is easier is because you can take that second finger and just put it right here. You can actually stretch out and do like a larger pentatonic. So that's the reason a lot of people, particularly when they're playing A, do this. Now we're going to play in different positions as we learn more about these pentatonics. So our next pentatonic scale up after this one, this is this one. So this one is like a, really it's like a, it would be a 4-1 if I was playing it with I usually play it with my third finger. Right? So we have that one. This one, of course, very useful pentatonic. This again, the thing to do is find where you can play repeating notes that sound really good within a scale. Then our next pentatonic, as we go up, this is the last one we're going to learn. It is like this. It goes to, you know, here I'm looking for my A notes. Now on this pentatonic we just played, there's my A note, and here's my A note. Always as you learn these, learn what notes you're playing around. Now why is that important? Because it's going to be important when we switch to other keys. So like just real quickly, so there's my A, and here's my A. Now if I were playing in blues in the key of D, let's say I'm playing. Then I'm going to play that same pentatonic, and I'm going to have my D here and my D here. So I know I got this. So that same pentatonic that I'm playing here is also here, just in the key of A. So the last one we're going to learn, it actually has the bottom string on this high A, and then we also have our A note right here, and our A over here. So with this one we're going to play so it's 3, 1, 3, 1. Actually, it could be 4, 1. You're going to back it. Actually, it'd be a 4, 2 if you're playing it with these fingers. Again, most of us blues players play it with these fingers. same one, of course, is up here. If we're playing an A, and you're going to see some important lead-ins we call connections of blues scales if we play it up here. So it's the same ones here. Particularly these notes here, they're really nice to have because you can slide into one of the next pentatonics, and that's one of the next kind of things you want to do is learn how to slide in between pentatonics. Now, we're not doing anything musical with this, we've just been finding our way around the fretboard. I have up here on the screen a Band in a Box composition in the key of A. I think I've shared this one before on one of my blues jams. And I'll put this in the description so you can go and you can pull this down, and it plays through for about 6-7 minutes, so you can just practice all these. Let's just, okay, it's not going to sound tremendously musical, but I'm going to show you how just the pentatonics sound. I'm just going to try just to play pentatonics, okay? During this blues, I'm going to try to not add extra notes and stuff into it. So let's just see what we can do with just the pentatonic scales in like a 12-bar blues. Be outside of them. Find it in an E note every time. Here's his little repeat notes. So that wasn't tremendously musical, but it was sort of musical. As you can see, you can get a long way with just those pentatonics. Now, the next thing to learn from the pentatonic scales that you've learned, once you get these in your head, just think of A is here. Let's see, when you're in the first position, your A is pentatonic's going to be this. When your A is here, when your A is in this position, you're going to have that B.B. King box. On the second fret, your A is. Right? You've also got an A down here. You've also got an A up here. But you're going to have this pentatonic. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember it. When your A is on the second fret here and you're playing in this position, you got this one. When your A is in this position, you got this one. And when your A is down here on this position, or right here like this, we have this one. Now, the next kind of lesson in getting started playing blues solos is to learn the major pentatonic. And I will go ahead and say that all you have to do is back it up 3 frets, and you've got the major pentatonic in blues. And major sounds good. It sounds really good, I think, in combination with the blues scale when you're playing blues. Now your major is going to sound a lot more brighter and happier and a little bit more melodic. So let's say we take, so in the key of A, instead, if we're playing in blues and we got our A note here, we're doing this. Then you got the same pattern, same 4-1 in the major pentatonic. So our major pentatonic would be. So then that B.B. King blues scale, if we're playing it here, we're going to back it up 3 frets, right? And we're going to have this one in the major pentatonic if we're playing blues. Right? So there it is again. Hopefully you're catching that. Now, if you're like most people, you're catching the fact that there's a lot of these same notes in this one, this pentatonic, that are in the other pentatonic. So what happens is as you progress, you start to learn that you can mix these pentatonics, and you start to learn what the extra notes are that you can play in a blues for it to work and sound a little more sophisticated. So if we keep moving our way up the neck, then we know that when we played our blues down here in the minor key, we did this. So we back up 3 frets again, 1, 2, 3, and we got this. So we got this. We got our 1 3s again here, that nice little cluster of them. So just like with this, we got our 1 3s. And remember, we have this one here. So we're going to move that one back to 3 frets. And then, last but not least, we have this one in the blues. And we're going to back it up 3 frets, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Now what I'm going to do I'm going to play a minor, play the same blues. I'm going to play in the major scales as much as I possibly can. And let's see kind of how that's going to sound. As you can see, it's hard for me to not to not go to some of the other scales as I'm playing. So I like to use the minor element or the major elements. I like to use the major elements, but not when I'm playing blues at the expense of the minor ones. I try to use them more as passing tones, and sometimes tones that you dwell on, particularly if you're trying to play around the chord because they sound more melodic. So I'm gonna do two things now. One, I'm going to start using what we call blue notes. And so in the pentatonic that we've done here, the minor one, we have notes that sound good when they're bent up. And typically it's this blue note here. This note here is what's typically called your flatted fifth in an A scale. It's there too. So because you have this little blue note, we call it, this little extra note we throw in. It also appears up here. It's a different scale. It's a flatted fifth if we're playing it in blues. It's a flatted third if we're playing the blue note in the major scale. So we're playing this pentatonic, and this is our note, right? It's also part of the other pentatonic. There's that extra note. Right? Now I'm going to play through the blues, and I'm going to throw that extra note in, and I'm going to play bits and pieces of both pentatonics, the major and minor, together as I solo. So I'm not playing off the chord necessarily. I'm playing still off of pentatonic scales, but these are called mixed pentatonics. So this is what your ultimate kind of goal is once you learn your major and minor. Now what I did, I created a chart when I was first learning how to play that showed the neck of the guitar and showed where the pentatonics were major and minor. And I showed where they overlapped. And what I did, I took everywhere there was a blues pentatonic in minor, I took a Sharpie, not a Sharpie, but what do you call these little highlighters, a blue highlighter, and I had a little pink highlighter for the major ones. And everywhere those notes existed, I put a dot on a piece of paper that showed me where they were, and I made myself a chart that showed how they overlapped. And what was really cool was where the pink ones and the blue ones overlapped, it became a purple dot. And those purple dots are the dots you really want to dwell on a lot of times. Those are the dots that maybe are the safest ones for you to land on. And so that's kind of how I developed my knowledge of the fretboard. So I'm going to play through this one a little bit in the Kyrgyz key of A. Maybe next lesson, since this is getting long, we'll go to a different key. I'll show you how it just transposes just wherever you are, based on where those notes are. That's why it's important you learn where those notes are. So now I'm going to play mixed pentatonic bag with the blue notes, the flatted third and the flatted fifth added in. Let's see what happens. Let's see where I land. This is just improvisation. that, my friends, is my lesson in how you get started playing the blues scales, the blues pentatonic scales. Throw in the flatted third, flatted fifth. Learn where they are. I'll put a chart on here so you can sort of follow that. And then start mixing those pentatonics up and just building little phrases. And that's step number one in my approach to doing blues. You know, the next thing that I would do, there are multiple lessons I'd like to do on this. One is playing around the chord, playing off the chord. Another one would be playing in modes. So you throw some modes in once in a while. And I did just a little bit there just as I was going through. I just couldn't hardly stop myself. And then the other thing is your double stops, your notes that work together really nicely, and repeating patterns and places where you could stretch and bend, so you got double stops. Of course, you don't ever want to forget that you still got a major scale and a minor scale that you can work with. So to me, playing blues, it's to master it, and I've not mastered it myself. I've been playing for 40 years now. But it's playing the pentatonics, knowing where they are. That's your backbone. How to combine those pentatonics, and then where to find modal things, chordal structure, and really cool double stops that utilize all those things. Knowing where to hit those spots, those stopping points at just the right place. So that's lesson one on how I play the blues, how I solo over it. Peace to all who watch. Subscribe to the channel if you like. There'll be more coming soon.